Hey, what's up? How's it going? If you came across this, there's something in here for you. So, the prompt that I started with today was it was going down the path of reflecting of just how good I feel. But then it went down the path of allowing me to see certain areas where I withheld that. And it's pretty much withholding on any areas and any times and moments where I wasn't giving myself the permission to love as much as I really want to. And that's pretty much what I noticed is the theme a lot of us like come across. Well, the theme with everybody is we come across something as we grow up that gets us to close our hearts and doesn't allow us to love to the degree that we really truly want to. Like there was a moment that I wrote down as I was writing down my thoughts, and it was reflecting with my previous partner that like I was playing music, and then without any permission, nothing. Again, we're driving in my car, just turns off my radio. And I was just like, "What? What are you doing?" And the response was like, "Oh, that music is terrible. It's garbage." And it's just like, okay, number one, we're in my car. Number two, like I love music, and I was enjoying it, and now and that's a big part of me. Like it puts me in such a great mood to like hear these songs. And okay, like if you don't like a certain genre, like we could change the track. Like there's so many things, but in me sharing music, I'm also sharing a part of me because songs are tied to certain moments in our lives. And that's kind of what adds to the euphoria of listening to the music. So hearing that, it's like a part is not welcome now. And I got to see that, like, although I shared that expression of that not being happy with that, I chose to let it go as quickly as possible because it wasn't that important. And it was just also a small way where life was reflecting a way that I cared more about how the other person was feeling rather than how I was feeling. It's a very common thing that everybody does. And in realizing that, I had to see it's not really so much about caring about how the other person feels. It was more about wanting to still keep that person as my excuse to express the amount of love that I have within me, the way that I want to express it, right? Because you can only express so much love with friends. And that's why with relationships, especially like in the beginning stages, it feels amazing. It feels like incredible. Everybody has like the honeymoon phase where both are feeling it. And that's where it's like this idea of like, all this love that you have within you is shared and it's being received and it's welcomed and you feel like all of you is seen and acknowledged and appreciated and loved and you're giving, and that's the main thing with relationships. It's not so much I love you, you love me. It's more of uh, we're both doing this very well intentioned, there's nothing bad about it, but I'm using you as my excuse to express all the love that I have within me, and I get to direct it at you, and we're both doing that with each other. And it's great to remember that because like in any times like conflicts or anything like that, that would be my reminder of what would love do. Not what I would do, right? Because there's a story tied to the way I would approach an argument or a disagreement. But what would love do? The part of me that really, really wants to love, the part of me that wants the best for both of us, what would love do in that situation? So in seeing that, I was so fixated at that time of wanting to keep this person as my excuse to express this love, because in order to express it you have to allow yourself to feel it first and it flows through you. And I wanted that to such a degree that I was willing to ignore how I felt. And there's so many ways where that's reflected, and there's some extreme situations to where it's like, that's why abusive relationships happen, and because it's yeah, feeling that love, but again, feeling that you're able to love to the degree that you want to, and being that this is somebody that you already feel safe, that they know how you love. um, it's like that's the way that you give yourself the permission to let that love out of you. But then what would happen, what I reflected on was like, what happened if I just didn't need that, if I didn't need that person to do that, and I just started to allow myself to feel the love that I did prior to the relationship, the way I was sharing it before the relationship, and do that tenfold, just because I love myself that much and I want myself to feel that much love. And if it feels good for me, I want other people to feel that too, just by knowing me and feeling me, just by being in my presence or just hearing my voice, that you could feel the nurturing energy behind it. And it's interesting because there's times like in the process of going down that path, um, as I was navigating the disagreements of stepping away, but more the disagreements of not returning back, because parting of the ways was cool. It was smooth, still painful, but it wasn't like malicious. But it was when the other person saw that I wasn't coming back. That's where some disagreements came in, and I had to remind myself of how I wanted to feel, and remind myself that I have love within me that I want to express and feel safe enough to do that everywhere I am. And if I feel that that's contained in any way or limited, that doesn't feel good. That means we're not a match, and that's okay. As much as I didn't want that to be true, life happened in the way that it revealed for that to be true. But that's that's where we get to be appreciative of everything that happens in life, because life always has your back. Life is always going to show you where something is just not in resonance with you. And at times when the person is not in resonance with you, even though you may manipulate yourself to such a degree, you're like everything is going amazing just because you have those rose colored glasses, but also the that filter of, yeah, but this feels so good, this feels so good, felt better than how things were before, and I don't want to go back to that. But the thing about that is we're always ascending, like there's no backtracking in anything. And once you feel a certain degree of love, once you feel a certain degree of freedom, you acclimate to that, and you actually start searching from that space. And whenever you're not, it feels really uncomfortable. Like you have to like deliberately ignore yourself to do that, to not um to not seek, not even seek, because like even that you start to understand is like trying to fill a void. It's trying to convince yourself that you're worthy of the love. But just moving and just allowing the direction of the love that you're acclimated to flow through you and to you. That is something that, as you deliberately ignore that, that's when things get so turbulent, just to show you it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to force yourself to, not even, yeah, like to actually manipulate yourself to believe that you're not worthy, kind of like I mentioned in the other one, the other video. Yeah, you actually have to try so hard and get yourself to believe that it makes sense to tolerate this turbulent energy of being in a relationship where it's not reciprocated, that unrequited love. that it's so uncomfortable day in and day out to where, like, if you notice, you're talking about the same thing all day long. You're thinking about the same thing all day long because life is not going to allow you to move past that. Life is going to show you, hey, this thing is the exact very thing that's holding you back. And what's frustrating to you is you know that. And as you're talking out loud, as you're thinking out loud, you're you're trying to convince yourself that you're lying. You're trying to convince yourself that um, although you want to step away and this is not a good fit, or maybe that's not true. And that's the way you get to thank those experiences and thank those kind of partners because they just help you turn up the volume of you and they get you to um, love yourself unconditionally so you can allow that love in. Because what's actually stopping us from letting all that love out is the fact that we locked ourselves on the inside. It's like a door that all the locks are on the outside. There's no knob on the outside, and we're hoping for somebody to let us out. And whenever we get into those relationships, that it's like, okay, I can feel safe enough to love as much as I want to. Um, Even though, if you think about it, you still don't even feel safe enough to do that. It's more of the potential of it that keeps you stuck within those relationships. And I know I just bounced, but it's just something that just came in now where it's just like it's more the potential and something that you get to show yourself is you're worth more than just the potential. And if that degree of love exists within you, it's safe enough for you to open that door that you're locked within and just allow that to pour out of you because that's the only way that the people that want to receive that love, want to see all of you, and are going to give you that same amount of love back can see you, can find you. But if you allow those that didn't receive it or try to even keep that door shut when you try to open it to them, be the reasons why you withhold that love within you, um, there's going to be a breaking point. And what's tricky about that breaking point is it's either going to be the breaking point where you move on or the breaking point where you shift to numbness. And that's dangerous. So, the best thing I could say as somebody that's navigated a decent amount of pain and become familiar with it and understand the purpose of its alchemizing nature is what ways can you allow all of that love that you have within you to flow towards you? What ways can you allow you to feel safe enough to be yourself with you? And I mean everywhere you go. You can start like at home, most comfortable places in the shower, right? Like singing and dancing, playing some music. That's my vibe. I'll have some concerts in the shower. And then it's like, okay, like, how can you bring that out into the world? Can you do it with some friends? Can you do it with some strangers? It's not even like not really caring about what other people think. It's just holding undivided attention towards the most important person in the world, you. Make yourself feel special. And those that would reciprocate that stand out to you. Super easy. And that has been the best thing is to hear that from somebody. Because as I stepped away, it's something that I actually got to hear. Safe for you to be yourself with me. It's like, wow, that's pretty fucking awesome. I didn't even think I wanted to hear that. I didn't even know I didn't even know I wanted to hear that. And it was awesome too. But little did I know that's something I've been doing the whole time. Just letting myself know that it's safe enough for me to be myself with me everywhere I go. That's where true power is. That's where true confidence is. And it's not really something to be taught, it's just something to allow. Give yourself permission. Stop asking for the permission, just give it to yourself. I got to go to a men's group that I'm co leading, but keeping this going of sharing daily journal prompts. Like I said, there's no hashtags, there's nothing to this. So if you come across this, thank you. If you stuck around the whole time, well, actually, I got that mixed up. If you came across this, there's something in here for you. If you listen to the whole thing, thank you. So, wishing you an amazing day, and I will catch you later.